This is the paint sprayer. It is a super cheap paint sprayer. Most of the paint sprayers that I use are over $100 or close to $200 or more than $200. This one on Amazon, it's cheap. So I bought this sprayer hoping that it would work, and guess what? It works very well. I was so blown away. And I'm pretty particular about my sprayed on finishes. I don't like texture in them at all. And so I thought this was gonna be a piece of junk, to be honest, and it's not living up to be that way. So this is the paint sprayer. And obviously when you get the sprayer for the first time, you open up your box, it's gonna be in pieces, right? So the very, very first thing that I do is I put it together and I put water in it, because water is like, it's not dirty. So if you open up the paint sprayer, you put water in it, you spray out of it, and you're like, this is not for me, then guess what? Dry it out, put it back in the box and return it. No harm done, right? But the other reason is to get used to your paint sprayer. So it can be completely intimidating to open up the box and be like, okay, what do I do with this? It's in pieces. What do I do? So grab the little owner's manual if you want, or just watch this video, right? So what you're gonna first do, grab some water. I'm out in my garage, so obviously I don't have running water right here. Inside, I would just fill it up with my tap water. And that's what this actually is. So put some water in it. You do have to decide on what tip to use. There's 4 different sizes of tips. I don't know, you probably can't see that. The hole is really big on one of them. This white one, it's really big. Then the red one I think is the smallest, and the blue one is the next smallest. I chose the bluish, greenish one. And all you do is just set it on there, okay? And then this little thing, I don't know if you can see it, put it on there, and the little screw cap, screw it on. Screw it tight enough that it's tight, it's on there, but not so tight that you can't turn this thing. That's something I love about this sprayer is you can turn this and it clicks. Did you hear that? It clicks into place. The other ones you like just keep turning and you're not sure what setting it is on, and you're hoping that it's right, or you have to like adjust it just a teeny tiny bit, but this one clicks into place, so that's awesome. So if you have it up like this, then the spray is going to come out like this. If you have it diagonal in any way, it's going to come out like this in a circle. And if you have it like this, the spray will come out straight. So you would spray side to side, right? Whichever way that these little things are laying is the way that you move the sprayer, and the spray comes out opposite. I hope that makes sense. Make sure that this little tube is on, and I like to have it curved towards the front, because usually when you spray in a downward or a straight. If you're gonna spray upwards, you have the tube going down, so then it will pick up most of the paint from the container when the container starts getting empty. So that's all that you really need to do right there before, and then you put it on your container and you just simply screw it on. You want it to be tight, not so tight that you can't get it back off, but you want it to be tight. Then you take the motor and you take this part, and there's an arrow on here, and there's a little unlock. It says unlock on it, and it says lock on this side, on words, or in words. You find that, you line it up, you just twist it on. Easy peasy. This cord is, I don't know, is it 6 feet long? Which is great. I love that. But I usually need an extension cord. So I just plug it into the extension cord. The extension cord is plugged into the wall. and you're ready to go. If I start pulling this trigger, it will start spraying water. So here we are, here's the sprayer. Now, what you need to know is this knob right here. This is the fluid knob, is what I call it. If you turn it on this side, it shows, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it shows negative and positive. So for this way, if you turn it downward, more water in this case, or paint, will come out. If you turn it the other way, less will come out, which makes sense because this black thing is going to get closer to over here, and so you won't be able to pull the trigger back as much, and so less paint or water will come out, right? So let's twist it back more and more, and let's see what it does. The only other setting is this setting on this, and so we already talked about that. So it will spray. Let's see, let's start this way. You can't even see that, right? No, you can't see it. It is just a very, very light mist. Super light mist, okay? Which might be what you want. But when you have thicker paint, it won't be able to spray as much of the thicker paint. It can spray the water really, really well because it's water, it's very thin. So I'm going to twist it down a few times so more paint or water comes out, and let's see what happens then. I don't know if you guys can see it, dang it. We're gonna get some cardboard or some paper, and then you guys can see it better. Let's try this again. See?
You see it now.
That was a lot. Now let's go back. Let's put the dial so less and less water comes out.
Let's see what this is.
So I made it so then less paint will come out now. Oh, I can't even turn on the sprayer because I rotated it so far back. Let's try now. Nope. See, and I just keep adjusting. And this is exactly what I would tell you to do. Just start playing with it. See what happens, because there's no problem with spraying water, right? So you can keep messing around with it and just see what works. Okay, so that was a very good light mist. It was still really a big spray pattern, but I liked that spray. That was a good spray. So if I had paint in here, I would have just stopped right there. Okay, now this is all of the way open. So let's see how much water it will spray out now. That was a much bigger spray pattern and a lot more water came out. So now what you can do, let's have it the diagonal way. Can you see that? What kind of spray pattern do we get? I don't know if you could tell, but that was more, it was a circle when I sprayed it. Now I'm gonna adjust it this way, so it should come out this way instead. So the spray pattern, okay, so if I go this way, I don't know if you could see that, but it was very, very thin because it was just spraying out like this. But now if I turn my sprayer, and it's gonna basically be a big wide spray, it should be. See? I encourage you, once you get a paint sprayer, just go and put water in it and test it out, see what happens. You can get a lot more comfortable with your paint sprayer once you put water in it and just start messing around. There is no harm in it. It's actually kind of fun, but it gives you can also change out the tips and see, okay, do I like the bigger tips or the smaller tips? I'm spraying water in this, obviously, but once I put paint in it, which I'm not actually gonna put the paint in right now, but once I put the paint in it, I'm gonna have to adjust this knob again because the paint is thicker than the water, and so sometimes you might have to have this almost all the way up if your paint is very thick. But if your paint is very, very thin, or if you're spraying stain or something, then you would have it have the setting almost all the way down. When I put the paint in it, I always get a piece of cardboard or something like this, and I test out the spray. Even before I did this one, you can see spots on the cardboard where I sprayed the cardboard to make sure that I liked the spray, and then I went and sprayed the table. So you just adjust this until you like it. If you don't like it, you might need to add some more water to your water-based paint, okay?
How far away from projects should you be to get an even spray? It's a good question.
Oh yes, that
That
I
is a
was
good
going
question
to show
from
that
Agatha.
stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have to say, like, every time I look at this table, I'm impressed by how well it's sprayed. This sprayer painted that finish so well.
Maybe
It looks so
a
good.
little reminder of what the name of the sprayer is. Somebody's saying they
It's
might have missed it,
Vonforn.
but yeah.
I would say that's about how far I spray, keep my spray away. I don't know how far that is. 8 inches? I don't know.
6 to 8 inches.
Sometimes,
Maybe?
well, no, maybe I get a little bit
I feel like
closer.
you get like 6 inches ish.
Maybe that's, yeah. I feel like that's about, but if you have your fluid setting up really, really high and a lot of paint is coming out, you need to back it up because you don't want to be so close that paint just gets caked on, right? You have to just have a fine mist. That's what you're aiming for, is just a fine, fine mist. You can always go and spray more paint, but it is so frustrating if you spray too much paint and then you have drips and then you have to sand out the drips if you don't catch them before they're dried. If you do have drips and you catch them when they're wet, which is what I would recommend, I would recommend spraying and then staying around for a few minutes and check and see if you have any sagging paint. I actually had some sagging paint, and what I did when it was wet is I just went like this. Actually, I think it was right here. I can see it right there. But if you catch it when it's wet, you can use a paintbrush or just wipe it off. That way, you don't have like a lot of paint that you have to sand. So keep it around here. I even went, when I was trying to spray that other leg back there, I was, a foot away. You're just looking for light mist, and depending on what your settings are is how far away you should stay. But I would say have your settings so then the paint doesn't come out so fast, and then you're not dealing with so much overspray everywhere. Are you confused and not sure where to start with your furniture makeover? Don't worry, I got your back. Click the link in my comment to download our free painting checklist so you can paint your furniture as if you hired a professional to do it.